Hey, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy K Dub. I'm coming to y'all with a quick video. We're gonna talk about some basketball again. If you're new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned. It's gonna be more to come. But I just wanted to come here and talk about a few things, few hoop things that I've seen going on recently. We're gonna start off by talking about Anthony Davis. First of all, Anthony Davis right now, he's looking like a top five player in the league. The last 9 games, he's averaging 35 points per game, 15 rebounds, 15.5 rebounds per game, about 3 blocks per game. That's crazy. And the Lakers, out the last 10 games, we've won 8 of them. Only lost 2. One was a bad loss at the buzzer. We blew that game. But it's good to see AD back in his bag. You know what I mean? I just hope he could stay healthy. Because right now we starting to pick it up. It looked like we found something. That Bucks game was a big game. You know what I mean? That game, he kind of set the tone, because we were winning games, but we kept on beating the Spurs. We were beating teams that were not at full strength or like low tier teams. But we beat the Bucks at home in a good game. And I think that we found something there. Ever since LeBron came back, he's playing better. Russ is playing better. Westbrook, he's probably added like 5 more years to his career, like ever since he went back on the bench, and how he's been hooping lately. So I'm happy to see Russ doing well. He hooping. He was making winning plays. That Bucks game, like, super happy for him. He's getting to the cup, getting others involved. But I mean, nobody's been more impressive than AD, man. If AD could play like this, there's no reason the Lakers should not climb up in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, in the Western Conference, the type of numbers he's putting up, pretty respectable numbers. So, shout out to AD, man. Would like to see him, like, man, if he gonna keep this going, man, he gonna have to get in the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year conversation, because he's just doing it on both ends, and you gotta respect it. Another thing, I mean, people are saying like we played better without LeBron, but that's just not true. LeBron came back and he seemed to found something. That Indiana game, LeBron did kind of sell. He was settling. He kind of killed the offense. And he was settling for a lot of jump shots. But, man, you see how he played in that Bucks game? He was to the rack, pick and roll. And I feel like at this stage, that's how Bron got to play, because his physicality is not going anywhere. Bron going to always be physical. That's one thing he going to always rely on. And at the end of the day, basketball is not a game about the bag. The bag helps, but it's about getting those shoulders by your defender and getting to the rack. And we're going to touch on that later when we talk about this Nets team. But, the Lakers are making strides. The Western Conference is starting to tighten up. You can see, like, Golden State they found their groove too. They moving up, And we figure, the Western Conference is very weird. It's all over the place right now. But I think, like always, the cream gonna rise to the top. But I do feel like the Pelicans gonna be like a new, they're gonna be like on top in the West too. You know what I mean? I could see the Pelicans being top 4 because they're just playing at a higher level. They got that chemistry from last year, and Zion is back in the thing, so they got better as a team, and we're seeing it right now in the type of role that they're having without even Bi being out there. And the person I want to give props to, Trey Murphy the third, man. Trey Murphy, he's looking like a gem right now for the Pelicans, man. I'm not gonna say like I'm surprised, but because last year I kind of saw a glimpse of it. You know what I mean? Like, it was that game that I was like, okay, because, of course I wasn't watching too much Pelicans game. Although I do root for them because I like Bi, for my Lakers, so I root for Bi. And I mean, I'm rooting for Zion too, because I want to, I root for the Duke guys. So let's talk about Trey Murphy. I saw Trey Murphy was that they're playing game against the Clippers. He really stepped up, played very well, man. And looking at him, looking at his frame, looking at his size, he looks about 6'6", 6'7". He could shoot it, and he's super athletic. That's a recipe for a solid NBA player. You know what I mean? Everybody wants that. You want a wing that could shoot and is athletic enough. With Trey, the only thing that he was like, okay, he has to work on his body a little bit. And it seemed like he did that. So with last year's experience, builds confidence. This year, he's hitting the ground ready to run, man. And that boy's producing at a high level. So the Pelicans at full strength, man, they're not going to be easy. Because they got everything you want from a team. They got the guards and the wings. They got the inside presence with Jonas and Zion. So they're going to be – then they got Jose who dropped 38 today. They're going to be a lot to deal with come playoff time. Then another team that I want to touch on is the Brooklyn Nets, man. So the Nets been another team that they've caught stride. They starting to look better. I want to give Jacques Vaughn a lot of credit. Brooklyn's head coach. He's showing that they can be a elite defensive team, man. They've been showing it for these last, I don't know how many games. The problem that I think the Nets are having is trying to rely on Royce O'Neal to be a playmaker too much. He's just not that guy for that role, man. Like, I think Royce should stick to getting the ball off Kyrie, KD, or the drives and either shooting it or driving. I think that should be Royce's main role. Kyrie gonna have to bring that ball up and run the offense, man. I know he wants to be off ball, but especially when Ben Simmons is not in the game, Kyrie gonna have to take that role. So that's one thing that I see that I'm like, okay, they're trying to find something on there, and it's just not working because Royce O'Neal, his handle and speed and quickness is just not there to be a main ball handler. He gets picked up, gets slowed down. They can't run their offense in time. Then, like today's game, Brooklyn were playing great defensively. But again, it seemed like they're not learning a lot from last year. Let's talk about Kevin Durant. As great of a player as Kevin Durant is, the guy just struggles against physical defenders and physical teams. We saw the problems Boston gave KD last year. I mean, he looked the worst I've ever seen KD look in the playoffs. Same thing today. In the playoffs. Same thing today. They just speed up KD, make him throw up shots, funny shots at the rim. And, he ended up having a good game if you just look at field goal percentage. But those turnovers killed Brooklyn, man. Those turnovers were bad. Like, they were live ball, momentum killer turnovers. They were just terrible. Like, and it's just the same thing from last year. And, the one thing that they need Ben Simmons when they play against a team like the Celtics. They need Ben Simmons to be the one to run the offense. It has to be Kyrie and Ben Simmons dribbling the ball because those guys, they have the physical ability and they have the handle. You know what I mean? KD got the handle, but he just doesn't have the physical ability to deal with that. So, and that's what I was going to say about when it comes to this bag. We love talking about the bag and people's handles, but listen, if you can play through contact, your handle does not matter. Like, if you can't play through traffic, your handle is useless. Like, it's not that it's useless, but it's not as elite as you might think because that's what we're seeing. KD is struggling. If you notice, KD, when he gets the ball on the catch, on the run, on the move, Boston has a tough time keeping up with him. He could go by. He gets a step on Al, on Grant Williams. But when he gets the ball, they just body him up. They're like, all right, we're going to just take off your space. You're going to have to rise up for a jumper. And they're living with that. KD is a lit mid-range shooter, so he's going to knock some of those down. But if he's going to cough it up 8 times, and a lot of those were like fast break, you in good shape. They were just bad turnovers. I feel like when the Nets play when the Nets get to play against the Celtics, they have to have KD off ball as much as possible, man. Like KD got to have other actions. You know, he can't just be catching the ball and letting the defense load up and body him up. It's going to be a recipe for disaster. But other than that, man, Kyrie got to find his groove too. But I feel like Kyrie, he could easily find his groove against this team. I mean, they're a tough defensive team, but if he just pick his spots better, Kyrie could have a good game because he seemed to not struggle as much as getting to the spots. He wasn't hitting shots today. So, yeah, man, I think the Nets, they're starting to pick it up. And, you know, once their team comes together, man, hopefully like Ben Simmons' injuries won't be like this moving on. And he could have a sustainable amount of time that he's played with the team and get to gel with everybody. But I'm very excited to see what Brooklyn Nets going to look like. Other than that, man, y'all let me know how y'all feel about some of the points that I made. And if it's any other players, any other teams you want to highlight, man, y'all stay tuned. We're going to highlight some of these teams and y'all give me suggestions. My Instagram going to be linked below. My Twitter going to be linked below. So, man, y'all stay tuned. It's your boy K-Dub, and I'm going to holla at y'all. Peace.